Hey, and welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm your host, JR, and here we are pumping up and bringing you some special football episode here on a Saturday morning. Since Zach and I are not talking tomorrow night, we are taking a break for Easter. I wanted to drop this off for you now. If you're loving the Big Ten Huddle, please do hit that like button, subscribe here on YouTube, follow on podcasts. It really helps us out, helps the channel grow. Right now on YouTube, we're at 2,700 subscribers, and I'd love to hit 3,000 by the end of this spring. So let's make it happen. If you're listening on podcast platform, please a 5-star rating and a quick write-up about what you enjoy most about the show goes a long way. We really appreciate it. I promise I won't spam your feed with filler content, stuff like that. Few bonus episodes here and there, but just the Big Ten football and basketball content you care about most 3 times a week with each sport. All right, let's dive into some transfer portal action because right now, the basketball channel, people are eating this stuff up. So I'm going to try to bring you some here as well. First talking point here. Let's dive into some rumors swirling around the NCAA transfer portal, the spring window transfer portal. Today, we're focusing on three players making waves in the Big Ten: Nitro Tuggle, Tamir Robinson, and Brendan Sullivan. These guys are shaking things up, and we've got the scoop, everything you want on where these guys might land. First up, let's talk about Nitro Tuggle, the former Georgia wide receiver who's got Big Ten teams on his radar. The 6'1", 190-pound sophomore from Napanee, however you pronounce it. He's from Indiana, okay? He's a former 4-star recruit who's already shown flashes of brilliance. Tuggle entered the transfer portal this spring, and right now, the two schools leading the race are Purdue and Indiana, right? Right now, it looks like Purdue is probably the front runner, and it makes sense. The Boilermakers have been aggressive in the portal, recently landing Indiana native Corey Smith from Tulsa and the former Boilermaker QB, bringing him back from North Carolina. Ryan Brownie is coming back home to Purdue to be their presumed starting quarterback this season. Head coach Barry Odom told us that he would bring in a number of players to West Lafayette, and Tuggle could be the next piece for them. On3 says Tuggle is visiting Purdue this Monday, which is a huge sign and that they're serious about him and want him to come. Purdue's passing game could use an X receiver like Tuggle. His size, his speed could make plays more difficult for the defense downfield. Now, let's talk about Tuggle's game a little bit. At Georgia, he played in only 8 games as a true freshman in 2024, recording 3 catches for 34 yards, and his best performance came against Tennessee, where he hauled in 2 passes for 25 yards and grabbed one at the and graded out, I apologize, as the 3rd highest offensive player in Georgia's big win. That's no small feat for the freshman, right? Going against SEC competition, defenses, which everybody loves to talk about how it's just basically the NFL. But anyway, whatever. Georgia's receiver room took some hits last season with Ra Thompson's dismissal and Colby Young's legal issues, so Tuggle stepped up late in the year. His teammates raved about his release, his ability to compete. Tuggle is from Indiana, though, which makes his recruitment for these teams make even more sense. Back at Northwood High in Indiana, he was a beast, racking up 173 receptions for nearly 2,900 yards and 41 touchdowns in his prep career. He was the number 3 recruit in the state of Indiana in the 2024 class and ranked as the number 62 receiver in the transfer portal by On3. This guy's got the pedigree to make an instant impact, but don't count out Indiana. The Hoosiers are a legit contender here too. Going to Bloomington would be a homecoming for him. 24/7 Sports' Tom Loy has flagged Indiana as a school to watch in this situation. Indiana's got a lot of momentum under Kirk Cignetti, and their offense could use a dynamic playmaker like Tuggle. I think they're probably wanting more of a slot guy, but who knows? You just keep bolstering up the room, and he's a young guy. Develop him, and things could look good for them. Syracuse and Texas Tech are also in the mix here, but right now it's looking like probably a Boilermaker Hoosier battle. Whichever one wins, he gets a bucket, I guess, right? That's what they do there. So why is Tuggle transferring? Well, It hasn't been all smooth sailing in Georgia. This spring, he was arrested for reckless driving and speeding, or was it last spring? One of those two, which led to his suspension for the rest of spring practice. Georgia coach Kirby Smart finally decided to do something about the off-field issues, and that might have played a role in Tuggle's decision to hit the portal. When you do something about some guys but not other guys, it is what it is. He also flirted with transferring after the SEC championship, but stayed for Georgia's Sugar Bowl loss to Notre Dame. Make sure to remind you guys about that one, where he didn't get a single catch. With all that in mind, a fresh start in the Big Ten could be exactly what he needs. Come on back to the Big Ten. Stop going down south, boys. All right, stay in the Big Ten if you're up here up north. Just do it. Makes more sense. Next, we got Tamir Robinson, a linebacker from Penn State, who's turning heads in the transfer portal. 6'3", 230-pound freshman, currently visiting USC, and that's got Big Ten fans raising their eyebrows. Some Big Ten on Big Ten action here. Robinson was a 4-star recruit and the number 2 player in Pennsylvania in the class of 2023, so losing him isn't going to impact the Nittany Lions much this year, but could in future seasons. Robinson played in 14 games for Penn State in 2024, posting 11 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and he was expected to take a big step forward this fall, especially with Penn State's linebacker room losing key contributors, Kobe King being one of them. Coach Franklin called him a big get and said that he was flashing in spring practice. Moving over my words, I apologize. But injuries have been a setback for Robinson, who missed his entire senior year out of high school and didn't quite find his groove at Penn State. Now, Robinson's out west, checking out USC. The Trojans are looking to bolster their linebacker depth, and Robinson's length and athleticism make him a perfect fit. On3 ranks him as the number 7 linebacker in the portal, which is impressive in the spring portal window to be ranked that high, and his high school tape shows a guy who can track down plays and even play in space. USC's not expecting him to start right away. Eric Gentry, Desmond Stevens, the second in the mix as well, but he could be a key piece for their 3 linebacker set against run-heavy Big Ten teams and also possibly battle for a starting spot. We'll see. Robinson's visit to USC is a big deal, as Zack told us in the transfer portal, in the transfer portal show, that USC would be looking at linebackers. Other schools that could jump in, it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see what other schools jump in here as well. If Penn State could possibly try to lure him back. For now, USC looks to be the team to beat. And finally, let's talk about a quarterback, right? Quarterbacks are always interesting. Brendan Sullivan, remember him? Iowa quarterback. He's got some Michigan interest as well, and Michigan fans are feeling a little indifferent about this one, I would say. This 6'4", 220-pound graduate transfer from Davison, Michigan is a dual threat signal caller with 1 year of eligibility left. Michigan has reached out to him, and On3's Pete Nico says the Wolverines are interested in adding depth to the quarterback room. I don't know if Brendan Sullivan is interested in being depth, but we'll have to see. Michigan's quarterback situation is a bit shaky right now. They've got only 2 healthy quarterbacks this spring, Jaden Davis and 5-star freshman Bryce Underwood. Mikey Keene, a winter portal addition, has been banged up, and Davis Warren is still out with his torn ACL. Sullivan could be the veteran presence they need. Some are speculating he would come in and be the starter, but the dude was behind Cade McNamara last year, so I can't imagine he surpasses Bryce Underwood. In 2024 at Iowa, he started 3 games after McNamara went out. He completed 38 of 53 passes for 475 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks. He also ran for 150 yards for 4 scores, showing his dual threat ability. Sullivan's got experience having played at Northwestern from 2021 to 2023 before transferring to Iowa to join Tim Lester. In his career, he's completed 69.4% of his passes for 1,800 yards. Forget exactly what it was. And 13 touchdowns. He's by no means a superstar, but he's a reliable depth option who can theoretically compete for a starting job, but in reality, he's a backup rather than a challenger to Bryce Underwood, in my opinion. But with the Wolverines' quarterback injuries, he could be a valuable insurance policy. Michigan's not the only school in this race as well. Sullivan's visiting Tulane next week, and Virginia Tech has also reached out. Those could be possible starting opportunities, but his dad did play at Michigan as an offensive lineman, so there's a connection there. But Sullivan's priority seems to be finding a place where he wants to start, which I don't see anything wrong with that. You want to start. You've been at two different schools. That's probably not Michigan, though. Tulane might offer an easier path to the QB1 role, but the family connection could play a role too, which makes this an interesting one to watch. And that's what we'll be doing as we bring you the latest on Big Ten transfer portal rumors, visits, all that stuff. Who do you think these guys go to? Who do you think lands them? Drop your predictions in the comments. If there's any people you want me to cover on here, please let me know in the comments. Happy to do that as well. And let's see how well you know your stuff. Take a quick break, and I'll be right back to break down Ohio State's options at defensive line in the transfer portal. So Buckeye fans, if you're there, stick around for this one. You're going to want to see it. Have you ever wanted to watch all 22 film, that film the coaches watch? Well, now you can. Introducing the Coaches Film Room. Over at Minutes to Sports, former college coach Zach Smith breaks down film of the most relevant teams in college football with a bit of a Big Ten lead. It's not free, so you'll need to sign up for the Colonel tier, which is $25 a month, but I can attest to you that it is far more worth it than that. With about 4 to 8 games per week, this is worth so much more money, not to mention Zach's analysis, making you a smarter football fan. Go check it out. The links are in the description, minutestosports.com. You won't be sorry. And welcome back to the show for your latest Big Ten football news, action. Look at the better background, right? Can we all agree the background is better now than it was back then? I got to update these ads. Anyway, in this segment, we're looking at where Ohio State is hunting for defensive tackles to beef up their defensive line depth. Defensive tackles are a hot commodity right now in the transfer portal, and the Buckeyes have their eyes set on 3 different prospect. But here's the catch. Ohio State's got starters in Edric Houston and Caden McDonald, so they're looking for depth, not really looking for starters. And as we know, guys coming out of the portal, they want to start. They don't want to come in and be backup. So that's a tough sell when other programs are offering starter spots. Let's break down the challenges and the players Ohio State is currently targeting, and then I have an idea at the end that Ohio State might try to go to. We'll see. First, let's talk about why this is such a tricky spot for Ohio State. Defensive tackle is their biggest need. I totally forgot to change the graphic. First, let's talk about why this is such a tricky spot for Ohio State. Defensive tackle is their biggest need this spring, but head coach Ryan Day and his defensive line coach Larry Johnson aren't just chasing talent. They want players who fit the program's culture. The problem is the transfer portal is a bidding war for defensive tackles. Most schools are promising immediate starting roles, playing time right away, but Ohio State, they can't do that. They've got Houston, they've got McDonald locked in as their starters, so their pitch is come to Columbus, compete for a spot, and be a top backup, maybe even start next year and be developed by one of the best defensive line coaches in the game. Add in some solid NIL money. That's a compelling case as well, but it's not a guarantee in playing time, which, as we know, playing time is what earns you the money. So that's what you want, right? Other programs are dangling guaranteed playing time, which is hard to compete with. So really, when we talk about these guys, it's difficult to see what is going to happen because they might not be starter caliber, but anyway, let's get to him. Demarion Thomas from Vanderbilt, this 6'2", 334-pound lineman is a true run stuffer with 2 years of eligibility remaining. Thomas is interested in Ohio State, and he brings serious experience. He played 10 games as a freshman in 2023 and started all 13 for Vanderbilt this last season, racking up 34 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack himself. His PFF grade, 57.7 overall, 58 in run defense, and 56.8 in pass rush. Aren't elite, but they show he's a reliable contributor at the Power 4 level. Reminder, Buckeye fans, this is a depth piece, not a starter. Thomas is a perfect depth piece for Ohio State in my mind. His size makes him a space eater, ideal for clogging up the middle. and freeing up linebackers. Vanderbilt leaned on him to shore up their run defense, and he delivered. The challenge is Thomas was a starter at Vanderbilt, and other schools will likely offer him the same opportunity at maybe a lower level or similar level as well. Ohio State's asking him to take a step back to be a backup, albeit a high value one with a chance to compete. If the NIL package is strong enough, Thomas could be swayed to do that, but he's got plenty of options. And like I said, these NIL packages for defensive tackles are big because people want them. Excuse me. Plus, he can't go to an SEC school, which is a huge plus for Ohio State too. Next up, let's look at Troy Pikes from Georgia Southern, 6'3", 290 pounds, is working to set up an official visit with Ohio State right now, and he's already spoken with Coach Larry Johnson. Pikes is a bit of a project, but he has potential. In 2024, he played all 13 games for Georgia Southern, recording 13 tackles and one quarterback hurry. His 2023 season was a redshirt year with just 8 snaps. So he's still developing. On3 ranks him as the number 1,082 overall transfer and the number 95 defensive lineman, and he's got 3 years of eligibility remaining. If I'm being honest, it's pretty concerning to me that Ohio State is going to him as a possible backup over, I would assume, a veteran Taiwan Malone and Jason Moore. Really makes you wonder about how much of an elite defensive line coach Larry Johnson is. But at the same time, they lost their entire defensive line last year. So that's a really hard thing to rebound from. But what I do like about Pikes is that his frame is a plus and he can add more mass, which Ohio State loves for their D-line, especially their young defensive linemen. His all-state high school career at Atlanta Mays shows he's got talent, and learning under Johnson could unlock that. The issue is that Pikes is also hearing from Georgia, South Carolina, Maryland, and UCF, and some of those programs might promise a clearer path to the field. Ohio State's selling development and a shot at a bigger stage, but Pikes might prioritize immediate playing time at maybe a Maryland or a UCF rather than at Ohio State. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but we'll see what happens with a visit. Finally, we've got Murad Watson, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Apologize if not. From Syracuse. This 6'3", 313-pound freshman just entered the transfer portal last night, and while there's no confirmed contact with Ohio State yet, I've been told Ohio State is planning to reach out to him, and that's a good idea too because he's exactly the kind of player they should target in this situation. Watson started as a true freshman in 2024, playing 13 games, 31 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, a sack, and 10 QB pressures. In fact, The Athletic named him a freshman All-American. His PFF grades were 65.1 overall, 77.4 in run defense, and 58.2 in pass rush, showing he's a standout, especially against the run, which is what you want if you are Ohio State. Watson is a rare find, though. A freshman with Power 4 starting experience and 3 years of eligibility remaining. He'd be a perfect rotation piece for Ohio State, bringing energy and upside. But the catch is he's only been in the portal a short amount of time. And if Ohio State doesn't come in quick, other programs could come in and try to swoop him up, offering him much, much more on the field. Syracuse's 10-3 season and a bowl win make Watson a hot commodity. Ohio State's pitch is compete, develop, and play meaningful snaps. Might appeal, but they'll need to make sure he is financially compensated well. And one more quick note to chew on, Buckeye fans. It is also possible that Ohio State could adjust its scheme this offseason to better align with the personnel they have, which would be an on-brand move for defensive coordinator Matt Patricia's history, right? Don't be surprised by the recruitment or the portal recruitment of edge Bo Atkinson from North Carolina and a loaded linebacker room to see more linebackers than linemen on the field for Ohio State regularly in 2025. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it looks like this could be a possibility. Now that's all I got for the D-line for the Buckeyes, but don't go anywhere. You're going to get mentioned in the next segment too. Even though it's not explicitly about you, you're going to get mentioned in it. So buckle up. We have some more Nico Iamaleava. I think I said that right. Rumors to go over, and Ohio State is a part of this. So don't go anywhere. Buckeye fans, stick with us, and we'll be right back after this message about home field. Home Field is your go-to destination for premium collegiate apparel with a passion for comfort and a flair for vintage design. Home Field brings you gear that is comfortable and stylish. With over 150 colleges to choose from, Home Field digs deep into the archives, uncovering forgotten logos, iconic mascots, and legendary moments to create one-of-a-kind apparel. Use my code TBTH for 15% off for new customers, or use my link in the description. Welcome back as we are getting into our last segment of the show. Let's talk Nico Iamaleava. I think I did that right. I was literally practicing before the show, so I hope I did. The former Tennessee Volunteer quarterback Nico Iamaleava and his potential move to UCLA might not be going as smoothly as some people thought. Okay, yeah, most people thought it wouldn't. Shocker, I know. Is Nico sticking with UCLA, or is this deal on shaky ground? We've got a lot to unpack with the latest reports, some intel from myself, and some spicy details about the camp's moves, rumors from the past with his brother Madden's history with UCLA, and even a rumored flirtation with, I said in the last segment, Ohio State. So settle in. Let's break it all down. First, let's set the stage. Nico Iamaleava, a highly touted quarterback from Long Beach, California, entered the transfer portal after a stint with Tennessee, where he reportedly was set to earn over $2 million per season through his NIL deals. But apparently that wasn't enough for Nico and his camp, as he possibly threatened to sit out the playoff game last year. Really terrible move. And then he was allegedly pushing for a $4 million deal with Tennessee's collective before he abruptly missed practice and eventually was basically told to kick rocks, which that's good with me. I'd probably do the same thing if a guy missed practice. Tennessee's head coach Josh Heupel made it clear last week that the Volunteers were moving forward without him, leaving Nico to explore new options. Nico is upset, or at least his camp is upset, but Nico has been posting about it on Instagram quite a bit. Now the buzz is that UCLA is the front runner to land Nico, with multiple reports, including one from FS1's Colin Cowherd, suggested he's heading home to South California to become a Bruin. That didn't really seem like a report from him when I saw it, but people are taking it that way. But here's the kicker. Nothing is official yet. ESPN's Chris Lowe reported that UCLA is among the schools interested, but is content to sit tight while Nico weighs his options. I believe the deal will happen, but it's not 100% a done deal. Recruiting, especially in the transfer portal with NIL revenue, especially when it comes to the Iamaleava's revenue sharing, agents, and admissions, is a complicated beast, and there are still hurdles to clear. So why the hesitation? Well, Nico's camp seems to be playing hardball a little bit. Again, shocker, I know. According to someone I know who is involved in Ohio State's NIL, it's not Brian Schottenstein, don't worry. Nico's camp has reached out to Ohio State, indicating they'd be willing to join the Buckeyes at a discounted rate. Now, I want to be clear. This is a third-party messenger kind of stuff, right? I haven't spoken directly to Ohio State staff. I haven't spoken directly to Nico's family or anybody in his camp, the agent. I haven't done that. But from what I've gathered, Ohio State doesn't seem particularly interested. There's a thought that Nico could add competition to Ohio State's quarterback room with Julian Sayin in the fall, and the Buckeyes could potentially have four quarterbacks on their roster, all costing them less than about $8 million combined. Four quarterbacks, less than $8 million combined. That's a lot of talent for a relatively low price tag in today's NIL-driven world. But here's the thing. Nico and his family have a reputation for being less than trustworthy, right? So there's no guarantee that Ohio State chatter is anything more than just a leverage play to pressure UCLA into meeting their demands. Speaking of demands, Nico's camp is rumored to be pushing UCLA to bolster their wide receiver core through the transfer portal before he fully commits. They want assurance that Nico will have the weapons he needs to succeed at UCLA. This kind of seems like a reason that he wouldn't go there type of thing to me, but Anyway, UCLA, on the other hand, is reportedly offering significantly less money than the $4 million Nico sought after to Tennessee. And this disconnect in expectations could be a sticking point, and it's one reason why some are skeptical the deal will actually go through. UCLA is trying to add one of the many Cal running backs that currently are in the transfer portal. I believe it was the one that got about 600 yards last year. I think he was their second string guy. But they hope this could make Nico's family, Nico's camp, his agent happy. But we'll see if that actually happens. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Nico's family and their history with UCLA. Nico's younger brother, Madden Iamaleava, was committed to UCLA for about 7 months during his time in high school, and even rumored to have accepted money from the Bruins to stay locked in before he was even committed. But in a shocking move, Madden flipped to Arkansas on the first day of early signing day last December. The Iamaleava family, led by their father Nick, cited uncertainty about UCLA's offensive coordinator situation as the reason. Rumors were swirling that Eric Bieniemy would be the guy who Madden liked a lot, but he might be leaving, or he might not even get there. And with Deshaun Foster as a brand new head coach, Nick Iamaleava praised Arkansas's offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino as one of the best in the game and said the opportunity was too good to pass up, despite their love for UCLA's head coach, Deshaun Foster. But here's where it gets a little messy, right? Some reports suggest that Iamaleava's family explanation was just kind of a convenient excuse. There's a lingering bad taste at UCLA from Madden's flip, with rumors that the family's decision were heavily driven by money in deal making rather than really anything else of consequence on the field. The Los Angeles Times even ran a column by longtime sports writer Bill Plaschke, who didn't hold back calling Nico toxic on ESPN, right? He's on Around the Horn. He called him toxic on ESPN. Plaschke argued that Nico's demand to nearly double his money despite not winning a playoff game and his abrupt exit from Tennessee shows he's all about cash, not the team. He warned UCLA to steer clear, saying this kid is toxic. Harsh words, I think, for the kid when it seems to be more the camp doing this kind of stuff, but it's about the kid, so I get it, right? Like, it is what it is. Not everyone agrees with Plaschke's take, though. Former NBA player and analyst Greg Anthony pushed back, saying it's unfair to label Nico as toxic just for making a business decision. After all, the transfers are common in today's college football landscape, and players are navigating a new reality of NIL deals that can make or break their careers. While I appreciate Anthony's insight, I think most people would agree this is a situation you do not often see in the current landscape. Still, the criticism of Nico and his family is loud, and it's not just about him. The Iamaleava family history, Madden's flip, the rumors of deception, and now Nico's high-stake demands has some UCLA fans and insiders wary, as I am as well. So where does this all leave us? Well, Nico remains in the transfer portal with a do not contact label, which suggests he has a pretty good idea of where he's headed, and they want to control all types of communication. It's likely USC, but The Athletic reported that Nico's rumored top 3 schools were UCLA, Tulane, and North Carolina. Only UCLA is still in the mix here, and the others have moved on in different directions. But there's a risk for UCLA in waiting on Nico. Could they lose out on other quarterback prospects like the one they have on their roster, Joey Aguilar, right? While playing this waiting game, this waiting time with him might make sense. This could be worst case scenario for the Bruins, who are banking on Nico to be their guy. Tino Sunseri is good, but I don't know if he's that good that he can just have no Nico, no Joey, and have an okay season. It would be an awful way to start the season. But this is, I mean, if we're being honest, like, this is kind of what you get when you have a first-time head coach and a second-year head coach, first-year head coach in his second year, and a first-time offensive coordinator, his first time without the co-tag on it as well. As for what's next, your guess is as good as mine until something official drops. The Iamaliava family's track record combined with Nico's bold moves in the portal makes this saga far, far, far from over. Will Nico stick with UCLA and return to his SoCal roots, or will the deal fall apart, leaving him to scramble for another option? Will he even play college football next year? Who knows? One thing's for sure, the drama is real, and we'll be keeping a close eye on all of it. What do you think about the situation? Is Nico making a smart move, or is he and his family playing a dangerous game? You agree with Bill Plaschke? You think he's toxic? Let me know. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get the conversation going. Love spitting it back and forth with you guys on topics like this. If you enjoyed the deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any updates on this story or any other college football news, right? Particularly Big Ten football news. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up to you on the next one, and don't forget to catch me and Zach on Sunday and Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. No Sunday this time because of Easter, but you can also catch me and Jack on me and Jeff. My son's name is Jack. Me and Jeff on Thursday nights at the same time as well. This Thursday is going to be our draft episode, so join us in the chat for that one. Should be a great time. We appreciate you being here. Have a good one.